And we're back to vlogging. Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to the vlog. In today's episode, we are going to be swapping the 458 Spider for the SVJ. And then we're going to continue this vlog because we also have to pick up the GT2RS I think tomorrow. And then we're going to check on RWB Victoria's aero work as well. Ever since Kyle dropped off the 458, I have not been able to drive it. So this will be my first time to experience the Gen 3 air suspension work that he's done. These are actually the old air struts from my 458 Speciale. Cold start, 458 Spider, stock exhaust. Super quiet. A lot of the back panels are actually creaking. Not happy with that. First time to drive the air suspension on the 458 Spider, and I still need to adjust my mirrors. I actually decided to give Jansen the 458 Spider in exchange for the SVJ so that he can mount the Rift exhaust system that we got from import hookup. Thank you, Keith, for the titanium system that we ordered. It was on stock, that's why I got it. And from the sound clips, most of the 458 kits sound relatively the same. So Jansen's gonna help install all that and then hopefully tune everything for us. Yeah, it's so creaky. But nonetheless, this car is still such a fun car to drive. Oh wow, okay. So the roof of the Spider is falling down too, and the creakiness is insane. So we're definitely going to send this car back to the service center after we get the exhaust. Nice thing with being a Spider is we have this little back window that we can open to get some extra sound. We'll put the car on race mode since the suspension has nothing to do with the car anymore, and then get it off automatic. It's so quiet, I'm not used to it being this quiet. The Speciale that we have is not that loud, but it's way better sounding than this. Fun fact, this car actually used to belong to Derek Ramsey, way back. So far, I've made a list already of the 458 Spider, things that need to be rechecked when it goes back to the dealer. This saggy roof is so annoying. If you watch my 458 Speciale video when I was on track, basically this happened to me. It just fell all down and I was on track and it's like, tuk! It was so funny actually, but not cool when, you know, you really want to drive the car and enjoy it already. Naturally aspirated V8, still the best sounding engine, one of the best. Along with the 430, this car sounds amazing. Can't wait to put actual pipes on it. Okay, we have arrived. Let's just settle in. This is the exhaust I got from Keith. This is a Rift titanium exhaust, straight down pipes along with the Capristo. This one I brought it in. The Capristo is so that we can force open or force close the little valves that we have just to get the car to quiet down when you do cold starts in the morning. Also, this is the hose kit, I guess, for some of the vacuum lines, if I'm not mistaken. I actually don't know what this hose kit is for, but probably to extend for the valve system there. So hopefully we'll see this car next week and we can hear the beautiful sound of the V8. Just gonna grab our stuff and then head into the SVJ. Okay, here goes the cold start for the SVJ. Not that cold anymore. Valves are open, if I'm not mistaken. This car sounds quieter than my car. Sound from the window, but you can really hear the car. It just brings it alive. There's something about the Gintani system on the SVJ that really just complements the car. Like yeah. I mean, I've heard some straight pipes before from other Lamborghini exhaust makers, but nothing sounds like this system. Alex from Gintani really knows what he's doing. He really loves these cars. I wonder how much of Alex's hearing has he lost already from listening to all these straight pipe systems. When you're inside the car, it actually is very okay and bearable. It's outside where it becomes really, really loud. You know, when you're very sleepy and you need a picker-upper, this is it. Nothing like this. Just got to the condo. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back after a few errands. Tomorrow we are picking up the GT2RS and swapping it with the SVJ so that we can do the service change oil, the tint scratch, and the wheel repair on the paint for the one wheel. So don't go anywhere. I'll be right back. I'm now picking up where we left off. We are gonna continue the vlog and head down to visit RWB Victoria because we have a lot of progress with the aero work, but also I have my laptop finally so that I can access the PDM and find out what's happening. I did bring an extra battery also that we're gonna change to see if the battery was the issue. So all this is gonna happen today, and then this afternoon we're gonna swap the SVJ with the GT2RS. One thing I don't like with the Manthai Racing coilover update that we did is it doesn't have any of the sport shock setting, meaning it's not connected to the car. So Edward had to install EDCs, which are canceller kits, so that we don't have a check code inside the car. Because we did end up replacing the DSC controller, which controls the suspension and dampening. So now it's all manually adjusted valves and stuff. So I'm hoping that the ride isn't too harsh, but Edward is setting it to the Nürburgring specs. And according to Edward, he has already data logged, or at least recorded, some of these settings that Moon was using, because the coilovers are used already. It came from another GT2RS, which was Moon's car, and Moon was doing like a 157 something on Clark, and that is blisteringly quick. But anyway, we're gonna feel the car out this afternoon. Hopefully, again, it's not a bad ride, but yeah, that's the activities for today, and I'll update you guys again when we see Vicky. Some holiday work today, but here's Vicky. Not much here in the rear, but mostly on the front. Look at the vent that Kevin made. Beautifully done. Sculpted. Rear diffuser, side diffuser. Okay, let me put the camera down real quick. Put a tester to the old battery. So, may problema yung battery. So I guess we figured it out. The stock battery does have better life right now. I'm putting it back on a tender. Something is wrong with the lithium battery. I really think the 180 amp alternator did fry something. We need to figure that out later on. For now, we're gonna plug the laptop into the PDM and figure out what the error codes are also on the PDM. Looking at the live data stream for the current. Just happy it's running. I thought I screwed something up, but I did cut 2 wires if I'm not mistaken. This is Race Studio 3. As you can see here, we have the status indicators for all of these circuits. I've labeled most of these circuits. So our fuel sender, I don't think it's working. Our wiper washer looks like it has a ground somewhere. We need to figure this out. We're done figuring out the electrical of Vicky. Let's admire the work of Kevin. So we're looking and studying how the aero is going to work. Obviously, this is still partial street car and not really a full attack race car because I still have air conditioning and a full interior. So we may be trimming this down a little so it's not as exaggerated. The canards, definitely, we are going to leave that on. This is going to need front stay supports, and then obviously we'll wrap around the chin a little to give it some more cleanliness. We might end up trimming the whole front blade to maybe half of where these two lines sit, but this is basically just plywood. That's super easy. And then the side blades are all fiberglass. Everything's gonna be fiberglass for now until we test it, and then maybe later on we'll go full carbon. Maybe here for the intake we're going to put a center line. I'm not quite sure just yet. We're going to study it with Norman, but check out these beautiful vents. Kevin has basically copied the GT3RS vents, and it looks so clean. We were gonna go all the way down here, but for now this is going to be awesome, and I think we'll stop there. We could extend it a few more, but I think that's enough because we do also have the lower aero removal duct here. Side blade, Kevin just smoothed out my line, and then the rear we just finished cutting that out. We're gonna end up trimming all this out also. Classic Speed has to bring the exhaust out just a little, and then we're gonna make a nice massive diffuser. Kyle is upgrading the air suspension kit, so hopefully on Tuesday we can bring the car down and see the ride height. I told him we need a super low ride height. Okay, we are done. Spoke to Kyle, and let's get out of here. Okay, I feel so accomplished again. The car starting. It wasn't my wiring, it was actually the lithium battery. I think the alternator really overcharged the lithium battery, and then the memory of the battery just failed. So we are going to try to leave the lithium battery on another trickle charger. I'm gonna get the trickle charger from the farm and basically see if we can revive that. I also sent a video to the supplier of the battery, so we're gonna find out what they say about the situation. But for now, we're just gonna head back and have some lunch, and then this afternoon we are going to be swapping the SVJ for the GT2RS, and then we can test what the Manthey racing coilovers feel like. Check this out, sexy RS6. I miss my wagon. Back in the Lamborghini SVJ, cold start. Wow, we are back in the Lamborghini SVJ, and that was a really loud cold start. Wow, that seemed to idle even higher than my car. Anyway, we are headed down to Hazard Boy so that we can swap the Lamborghini SVJ and get the GT2RS. Right now, Edward just messaged me that they are corner weight balancing the GT2RS, which means they're actually trying to make the car super neutral when it's standing still, so that under load, when you're basically weight transferring during braking or cornering or acceleration, it's a very even load amongst all the tires. So it's gonna be interesting. I'm really excited to bring this car to the racetrack. Hopefully next week we'll have time to do a track day and test out all these settings that Edward and the team at Hazard Boy Performance has done for us. A lot of these specs that Edward is implementing into the GT2RS was already, I guess, proven by Moon. But for now, as usual, let us listen to the sweet sounds of the Lamborghini SVJ V12. Love it. Love it. Okay, almost at Hazard Boy. So close. Love it. Edward, new shop location. Amazing. Okay, hopefully our onboard cam was working properly, but we're now outside Hazard Boy waiting for the GT2RS. They said the GTR is gonna come out. The shop is super busy. Really excited to see how the GT2RS handles with the Manthey Racing coilover kit, along with the RSS tie rod steering kit, along with the caster kit from RSS also. That's a really sexy wheel. Looks like he's got like Goodyear R tires. Slick almost. Okay, we're going to be doing a checklist real quick. And then checking out the other cars. This car is so beautiful in its spec. I'm waiting for my carbon bits here. I have a bigger scoop here from Novitec. The GT2RS is finally coming down. The alignment is being done, and look at the camber on this. The camber is insane. Wow. Camber. I hope this doesn't torque steer on the highway. Hi Edward! Kamusta yung kotse?
Okay na. Corner balance na. Now, siguro final alignment na lang. Okay na.
Ano, mahabol ko ba si Moon?
Sabi daw, medyo i-adjust ko raw lang medyo konti. Huwag daw masyadong aggressive eh.
Nako, anong time ni Moon sa performante?
Wala pa, kaya ngayon pa lang namin dito try.
Habol. Hey guys, it is 6 p.m. and we are still waiting. Edward was saying that we should get the Cup R tires so that we can be faster, but I said I'm going to use these tires first because it's such a waste. He was saying also that with the new camber that he set, the car is going to be a super different animal. I've never tracked the GT2RS yet, so I don't know the feeling, but I don't doubt that this is going to be a supremely fast car that is going to be very competitive. It's going to be interesting for the next race, hoping it doesn't rain so that we can set down some amazing lap times. GT2RS Evo in the house. Edward ended up putting some kettlebells in the car so that it would mimic my weight. Already, the car had issues with the lift kit. Okay na?
Yeah.
No more problem?
No more.
Okay, sana wala na problema. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mom. Thank you. Okay, we are finally getting out of here. That took way longer than expected. I don't know if you can see me with this lighting. So initial feedback, the steering feels a little darty and I can hear a different kind of noise in the rear suspension. The ride quality is surprisingly good. So even though we don't have the active damping anymore, we have a passive system where you adjust the bound and rebound of the whole system just based off the knob. The ride's actually quite good, and we do have external reservoirs in this, so we do have that extra fluid running around. So I won't be able to give you guys a really in-depth feel of how this handles until we actually bring it out to the racetrack. Now, because the camber is so severe, definitely it's going to be much better in corners, but I'm wondering, during driving on normal roads, will it tramline a lot? Will it look for a lot of road? Will it be difficult to predict? So, because according to Edward, when Moon had this setup, he was basically very careful with it because he would spin out a lot. Edward also sanded my brakes down, so I feel like I need to bed it in a little. It's not that responsive at the moment. It feels like it's just sliding through. So a couple of heat cycles to bed the brakes back in is definitely one of the things that we need to do. And then hopefully within the week we can actually take the car out and just drive around and get a more impressive, I guess a more in-depth road experience of the whole setup. But so far, ride quality, I was pretty worried that it was going to be very bouncy. Thank God it's not. Perfect. comfort is surprisingly good. Steering is a little, I mean, with this much camber, you can really expect the car to follow a lot of the road imperfections. Had some wheel spin. The tail went squirrely. It's actually my first time to really like push the throttle in this car. Maybe a little shorter travel with the suspension, but overall I am happy with it. Okay, I told Edward if the car was a little too bumpy, maybe we would remove the Mante Racing and put back the original. I do now need to remove the DSC controller because that's such a waste. We're gonna end up trying to sell the DSC controller because now with the Mante Racing we don't need it.
Blue face it bustin' nada. Blue face it bustin' nada.